Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. We've heard rumblings over the last couple of weeks that Amazon is interested in getting in the telecommunications business, specifically with wireless offerings for its Prime subscribers. So what would that look like? There's already a playbook for this that Amazon might be able to implement. And while it seems like it may be bad news for established telecommunications companies like Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, it may not actually be bad news. That's what I want to dig into today. My name is Travis Hoyam. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And I want to start with what Amazon would be offering, because they're not going to be building their own network. They're going to be building what's called a mobile virtual network operator. This is Wikipedia's description of a mobile virtual network operator, a wireless communication service provider that does not own the wireless network infrastructure over which it provides services to customers. Examples of this kind of a service would be Boost Mobile, Mint Mobile, Comcast wireless service. There are dozens of these companies that are offering wireless services that don't actually own the infrastructure. So what Amazon would be doing is actually leveraging the existing infrastructure, whether that's 4G, 5G, and then offering it to their customers. Typically what happens is the highest priority is reserved to customers of the existing service. So Verizon or AT&T are going to say, hey, if you're trying to make a call or trying to access the internet, if you are a Verizon or AT&T customer, you get first access. And then there's a number of tiers that falls under that, and Amazon would be in one of those tiers. That's how the budget operators work. And the lower the cost of your subscription, typically the lower you fall on the tiers. That's why some of these operators are known to not quite have the same service as their bigger competitors. That's actually an intentional feature of the system. Basically, you get what you pay for. But there's a reason that these companies want to have this kind of a structure. If you're Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, you have spent billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars building out your network. So you need to monetize it in as many ways as you possibly can. You, of course, want to have those premium subscribers, which is the kind of customers you're trying to reach directly. But you also want to have budget subscribers who are at least adding something to the system and taking any of the excess capacity that you might have. If we look at Verizon's income statement, we can see how this might be a positive impact on their earnings long term. This is the consolidated statement of incomes for Verizon, and you can see that services revenue, $27.2 billion, only incurs costs of revenue of about $7.1 billion. So very, very high margin for services revenue. On the flip side, wireless equipment, which would be the hardware that you're selling, the smartphones and other equipment that you're selling to subscribers, $5.8 billion in revenue and $6.4 billion in costs. They're actually losing money on every piece of hardware that they sell to customers. So if a customer like Amazon can say, hey, we will pay you this high margin revenue, maybe take a slightly lower tier than you're giving to your customers, and we're going to maybe even take off some of this wireless equipment negative margin that you have from your business. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they could all potentially add high gross margin revenue just by partnering with a company like Amazon. The question for all of these telecommunication companies is, where do those customers come from? If you're an Amazon customer, are you peeling away from being a premium subscriber from Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile? Or were you somebody that didn't have service at all? If it's an incremental addition in revenue, then that's going to be good to have those customers on your network. But if you're pulling away from other subscribers that may be paying more per month, that's going to be a negative. So that's kind of the dynamic that's going on here. And if these rumors are true and we do see some sort of plan form in the future, that's going to be the balance that we're going to want to look at as investors. Is what is any given company giving up? Is there one service provider? Actually, I think if there was only one service provider, an Amazon deal would actually be good for that one company and negative for the other two. But if that revenue and cost is split across all three, maybe there's not a whole lot of impact on any of these companies. And maybe it's just sort of taking money from one pocket and putting it in another. So Amazon getting into the wireless business is very interesting, but I think understanding what the mechanics are behind them is going to be really important for both consumers and investors. And Amazon wireless service is probably not going to be the exact same service as you're getting from Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile. It's actually going to be a slightly lower tier, slightly worse service as a result, but you may get a discount. On your monthly bill. So that's the way to think about it, both from a consumer standpoint and from an investor standpoint. But what do you think about this potential? But what do you think about the potential of Amazon getting into wireless service? Love to hear your comments in the comment section below. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Thanks, and I'll see you here next time.